Welcome to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbie. I'm the founder, president, and CEO of GRCAM, the Grassroots Community Activist Movement. On this platform, we discuss authentic urban news across the diaspora and what's happening in Africa. If you're joining us for the first time, please hit that like button, share, and subscribe to my YouTube page. We encourage our listeners worldwide to engage with us by leaving a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast. And if you want to come on this show, you have to send me your email address. Um, if you're on Facebook, for example, send me a friend request on Facebook. Now, on Facebook, I have a backup page, so that's where I'm at right now. So I recommend you just type in my full name, Emmanuel Barbie, Emmanuel, last name Barbee. And on there, I have my arm stretched out and I'm wearing some shades. That's my page that I'm on. Send me a friend request. Also includes your email address. If you're on LinkedIn, then just send me a friend request on LinkedIn. Include your email address. Same thing with TikTok, Instagram, X. So that's how you can find me. We encourage our listeners worldwide to engage with us by leaving a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast. Help make our audio podcast and our video podcast go viral by sharing my YouTube page with all of your Facebook friends and any other social media sites you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. Disclaimer: content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is based on public available report and verified media sources. We fully comply with YouTube's community guidelines. We do not promote violence, hate, or misinformation in any form. This podcast is available in three forms: audio, video, and also as a written text, in order for us to reach our audience. Help Stop the Genocide in the American Ghettos podcast is our Black media component. I would like to encourage my listeners to subscribe to my Medium page where you can follow along during my presentations. I provide my Medium transcript in the comment section below this audio podcast. I want to do more than just news and social commentary, but at this point in time, this is where I'm at. I'm gifted in the area of research. I can find anything in writing. And so I decide to use my gift in terms of trying to give back to Black America as well as to Africa until I'm able to get GRCAM members to come forth and work with me to get my revised book on that bestsellers list, and for GRCAM members to join my management team or my film project team and work with me to raise funds for this film project, so that way I can hire them to be part of this film project and for us to make a quality Black empowerment film. Those that join my film project team will go down in history with me and Sister Renee. You have my word on that, because you're going to work with me directly. Thing is, you're going to have to come to Chicago, but I'm not going to encourage anyone to do that at this point in time. Let's raise the fund first. Number one, help get my revised book on that bestsellers list so that way the Black world can take us serious and take our cause serious. Number two, if you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, specifically Black Chicago, then you will automatically become a GERCAM member. Those that live here within the United States of America, um, you will be the ones that will be part of my film project. So make yourself known to me. First, read my story. If you agree, I provide my email address in the book. And I just want to go ahead and get this thing popping. My book has been on Amazon now for 13 years, still barely selling. It's not cool at all, but I'm doing the best that I can within the power within me and using this technology to broadcast my vision and plan to not just those here in the United States of America, but also to the global Black family worldwide, trying to do something positive, build something. But, you know, I have little to no support from Black Chicagoans here in Chicago. They acting funny style because of that slave mentality. That's okay. That's fine. This is why I'm on. That's why I created this platform in the first place. Again, to broadcast my vision and plan beyond Chicago. Um, it does not matter how bad I want to get this my film project fully funded and made and get my Christian business up and running without financial support from the Black grassroots and the global African family, then I am unable to do my God given assignment. We are failing our children, and that's shameful. Um, it should not be taking anyone, no 33 years to get a business up and running. But again, this is spiritual warfare. I understand because I'm called by my Lord and Savior Jesus slash Yahshua to create the best African American business within the United States of America. And that's all I'm trying to do. And I want to expand it to the African continent. So that way we can do international trade. Now let's I'm gonna keep it 100. The white man is not stopping Black Americans from buying my revised book. The white man is not stopping Black Americans from buying items from my virtual store. The white man is not stopping Black Americans from donating to my film project. That's a personal choice. That's Willie Lynch, ladies and gentlemen. That's Willie Lynch in real time. My film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group, Black Americans, before I cut and run to Africa. So that's going to be my credibility. Creating this film, yes, creating the film project. That's very important. That's also my credibility. My revised book is my credibility, and that's the foundation of my Christian business. So I'm just doing the best that I can. That's all. Coming events Monday, November 10th, we're celebrating GERCAM 34th anniversary. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it would be 34 years. Ah, yes, it's been a struggle. Ah, yes, I had to go through a lot of foolishness, unnecessary foolishness. But glory to God, He allowed me to persevere. And um, I'm going to open up the phone lines. I'm just going to do a freestyle. I'm going to let, everyone that's on my friends list, just say some words of encouragement or something, or whatever you want to say. If you want to debate me on the 34th anniversary of your cam, you can, whatever you want to do. But I will make myself available. Um, I'm gonna say at 2 o'clock p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian time, 8 p.m. West African time, 9 p.m. South African time, 10 p.m. East African time, and 8 p.m. UK time. But I am gonna do a Zoom live and answer any of y'all questions. Again, I don't want to be doing this another 34 years. That's why I'm reaching out to the global African family. If you're serious about me bringing my business over to the African continent, encourage your family that lives here in the United States, the ones that's here legally. Encourage them to purchase my revised book and to read my story. If they agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black American, then they will become a GERCAM member. And then I would like for them to work with me to get behind this film project so we can go ahead and do this film. And once we do this film project, once the proceeds from that film start coming in, that's going to put me in a better position financially to purchase property here in the city of Chicago. Purchase business office equipment, hire qualified Black middle class professionals, hire qualified African immigrants in the United States. And together, we're going to build the best African American business within the United States of America, and that is the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. Because after all, I don't have any kids. This business is not for me. This business is for those of you that have children. Those of you that's unable to leave America due to finances. That's why I'm trying to create the business in the inner city, on the west side, to cover Austin, Garfield Park, and North Lawndale, and eventually make our presence known on the south side of Chicago. I don't know where at yet, but we will make our presence known over there as well. We're going to raise the bar. We're going to stand on business. That's what I'm all about. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to turn the business over to my management team, and I'm going to take my business to the African continent, starting in South Africa. Replicate that business over there and expand it to 9 other African nations. So that way we can do international trade with each other and be on code with one another. And I want to make sure that none of my members have to go through this kind of foolishness I went through just for trying to start something positive in the Black community. Just really, it's a turnoff. That's all I can say. But I'm gonna do the best that I can. Yes, I'm gonna complain. I ain't happy about this. Still being on first base, and out of 33 years, no, I'm not happy about that. But hey, it is what it is. God give us free will. But all right, let me get back to this presentation. Saturday, November 8th, we have guest speakers, Prophetess Hope from Nigeria and Pastor Goodness. I don't know how to pronounce the rest of her name, so I'm just going to stick with that. Pastor Goodness from Nigeria. Please mark your calendar for our next monthly virtual interactive conference, Saturday, November 29th, 2025. Join us in this virtual interactive conference. Everyone on my Facebook page and everyone in my Facebook social groups. Although we don't have a physical building at this time, we are using this technology to broadcast what we're trying to do in Black Chicago and beyond. On this platform, we're genuine, sincere, transparent, and authentic. This event will help expand your network and enhance your profile visibility and make more meaningful connection with the global community. Theme: re examining the Willie Lynch letter and what CAM members can do about it. Where Zoom live time 2 p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian Time, 8 p.m. West African Time, 9 p.m. South African Time, 10 p.m. East African Time, and 8 p.m. UK Time. We are looking for 5 or more people to be on our panel. If you're interested, please send me a message to my Facebook inbox along with your email address, because that way I can send you the Zoom link to both through Facebook Messenger as well as through your email. And so sometimes some people have difficulties um, accessing the Zoom link through Facebook Messenger. That's how come I request that you send me both. So I say, just try to get through it through access Zoom through your email. Title of this presentation: Food Banks Alone Can't Feed Millions of American Citizens, and Democratic Shills Expose Receiving Dark Money to Manipulate Black Voters. Our first topic: food banks alone can't feed millions of American citizens. If the Black American, uh, if the, sorry, tongue twist. If Black Americans would have embraced my vision and plan 33 years ago, we would have been more prepared for this situation taking place now under the second term of Trump administration. It was my hope that Chicago, Chicago would have been built in at least 10 cities by now and in at least five African nations. But it hasn't. It was always my hope that Gurkai of Chicago would be somewhat like a McDonald's, an international corporation owned and controlled by Gurkam members who are Black Americans and African immigrants. I sacrificed 33 years of my life trying my best to recruit brave and smart Black Americans, brave and smart African immigrants uh, in real life as well as online. But I don't know what's going on with that. It is what it is, you know. Um, Now I am focusing more on reaching out to African immigrants from 10 African nations from the Sub-Saharan Africa, meaning where the majority of Black Africans reside. That would be South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. The reason why is to help speed up this process, because I don't want to be doing this another 33 years. This is not a game. Our kids are dying. Their hopes and dreams are being taken away from them because we failed to build um, structure for them, institutions. That's all I'm trying to build. So this is something that we can own and control, not just sit up here and complain about the white man and the government. So Black millennials, Generation Z, this business is for you. I'm just trying to get it off the ground and turn it into a reality. That's all. Um, and again, this is unacceptable. 33 years and I'm still on first base. It's what it is. But hey, I'm gonna keep doing what I can do. That's all I'm not interested in writing more books. If my first book is barely selling. That doesn't make sense for me to write more books. Now I'm trying to do a film. You know what I'm saying? Determined, trying to make this happen to help our racial group. That's Black Americans and Africans. That's what I'm on. Again, this is why I created this platform to connect with the global African family. I want to network with those of you who are serious and really care about the state of, I would say, Black youth in America and African youth in America. We got to get it popping here first. Hey, this is where I'm at. All I have is my revised book, my virtual store, my Facebook social groups, and this platform. All I ask is for all my listeners, if you're serious, I only want to talk to those that's serious. Those of you that's on here that just want to be seen or playing mind games and acting like teenagers and all that stuff, go on about your business. I ain't interested. And anybody that disagree with my vision and plan in the book, delete me off your friends list. Don't come to no events with my name on it. And that's real. Um, I wrote my book in order to generate capital so that I can hire qualified Black middle class professionals to be on my management team. I created my virtual store in order to generate capital so I can hire qualified Black middle class professionals to be on my management team. Our first goal is to get my revised book on that bestsellers list so that way the Black world can take us serious. Our second goal is to get my management team in place to work with me in raising funds for our film project in order for us to reach the Black masses and the Black world. I want us to create a quality Black empowerment film based on my life experience. The name of my docudrama is Hood Liberator, made in Chicago. The war against Willie Lynch begins. That docudrama is about my experience. Since Black American, or I would say Black Chicago, you know, to be more Pacific, it's taken me for joke. My business will be membership based. Those that have rejected me for the past 33 years would not be part of my business. And that's real. None of my family members will be part of my business because they're full of this slave mentality. And I was called to break that slave mentality through a business. My revised book is the foundation of my Christian business, and we will carry out everything that I have written in my revised book. So help me God. All I can ask is Jesus/Yahshua. I've done what you told me. I've been faithful. I've been reaching out to these people that you taught me to help. I'm still on first base. You know exactly I wanted a photographic memory. That's what I was praying for. I didn't ask to have to deal with people that got nasty attitudes, but you told me this is what you wanted me to do. All I'm asking you to do is touch their hearts. Let them come forth. Let them work with me so we can build the best African American business within the United States as you placed in my heart and mind. Through the power of God, the power of the Holy Spirit, reveal thyself. How long do I have to be humiliated? Being on first base, trying to get this thing up and running. This is to help the greater Black community. This is not just about me building a business and that's it. This is a business that can be passed down to the next generation. Please let me connect with um, Black Americans and Africans that can understand what I'm saying, Lord. And have mercy on those preachers that refuse to work with me because they all about themselves. That's why I'm in between churches. Have mercy on them. Those who are not a part of us or a part of the camp, we will pray for them. We will show them tough love, and we will keep it moving. 40 million Americans depend on food stamps in the richest country on earth. Make it make sense. These politicians won't raise wages, won't control rent, won't solve the crisis, but they get paid during a government shutdown while you and your family starve. Corporate America isn't interested in solving poverty. They're interested in managing it, containing it, and making sure it doesn't get so bad that people start rioting in the streets. We're interested in keeping people just barely alive enough to keep them working their low wage jobs, but not alive enough to have any power, any leverage, or any ability to demand better. People are on food stamps because they don't make enough money to buy food. It is what it is. Wages are too low and costs are too high. And the gap between what people earn and what things cost, that's the issue. The federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. It's been stuck there since 2009. 16 years without a raise. If you work full time at minimum wage, you will earn about 15,000 a year before taxes. You cannot live on that. You cannot afford rent on that. You definitely cannot afford groceries, which have gone up dramatically while wages stayed the same. So people work full-time jobs, sometimes two and three jobs, and they still need food stamps because their employers refuse to pay them enough to survive on. When it comes to working people, America does exploitation, and it's called capitalism. For example, let's talk about rent because that's the other half of why people can't afford food. The average rent in America is over 1,500 a month. In major cities, it's 2,000, 3,000, or even 4,000 a month for a basic apartment. And there's no cap on it. Landlords can raise their rents as much as they want, whenever they want, for no reason at all. You could be a perfect tenant, paying on time every month, never cause any problems, and your landlord can still decide to raise the rent by $300 because they feel like they can. Other countries have figured this out. Other developed nations have rent control, rent stabilization policies that prevent landlords from garnishing tenants, but not America. In America, housing is treated as an investment for wealthy people to get richer, not as a basic human need that someone deserve access to. So rent keeps going up, wages remain the same, and poor the working poor can't afford both rent and food. They have to choose. And when they have to choose to keep a roof over their head, they end up on food stamps. This is a political choice. These politicians can regulate rent increase tomorrow if they wanted to. For example, Congress could pass rent control legislation States could implement rent stabilization programs. Cities could cap how much landlords can charge. American politicians could treat housing like the basic necessity it is instead of like a commodity for investors to profit from. But we don't, because the people who own multiple properties, the people who profit from skyrocketing rents, the real estate investors and landlords and corporate property manager companies, they donate a lot of money to these politicians. They lobby Congress. They they make sure that any attempt to control rent gets shot down before it even gets a vote. So rent keeps rising, and politicians throwing up their hands and acting like there's nothing that they can do. When the truth is, they're choosing to do nothing because their donors don't want them to. The same thing happens with the minimum wage. Politicians could raise it tomorrow. They could pass legislations making the minimum wage $15 an hour, $20 an hour. They could tie it to inflation so it automatically increase every year to keep up with the cost of living. They could make it illegal for corporations to pay poverty wages while their CEOs make millions. But they don't, because Walmart, McDonald's, and Amazon and other mega corporations rely on cheap labor, tell them not to. These companies donate millions of dollars to political campaigns in exchange for politicians to turn a blind eye about workers being exploited. It's legalized bribery, and that's why nothing changes. And these same politicians have the audacity to complain about people being on food stamps. They refuse to raise wages. They refuse to control rent. They refuse to address the affordability crisis. And then they turn around and shame people for needing assistance. They call them lazy. They call them freeloaders. They create work requirements and assess limits and humiliating um, bureaucratic, bureaucratic hoops for the workers, for the working poor, just for them to end up getting food stamps to feed their families. It's cruel and it's deliberate. It's all done by design to keep poor people desperate, dependent, and powerless. But hey, I mean, all I can say is we ain't gonna be like that over here. But like I say, in Grecia, Chicago, or you know, it's gonna be membership based. That's all I'm saying. And we're gonna separate ourselves from the enemy within. And there will be consequences if I can find any con artists in my business. I dare, I dare someone to be a con artist to join my business. I dare you. There will be consequences waiting for you because people work too doggone hard for their money and have some low down dirty person sitting up here trying to scam them out their money, hard working money. That's not right. That's why I want require people's thumbprint so we can hunt them down in this business. But you know, it's not up and running yet. So anyway, let me get back to my presentation. Look at what's happening when the government shuts down. Federal workers, people with real jobs and responsibilities miss their paychecks. They can't pay their bills. They end up going to a food pantry because they can't afford groceries. while these uh, while standing in line hoping to get some canned goods, rice, beans, and bread. The politicians who caused the shutdowns are still getting their money. Is still getting their salaries during the shutdown. Um, Senators as well, they still get their health care. They're still um, living comfortably, while the people they're supposed to serve are choosing between gas and food. That's not governance. That's using working people as pawns in a political game, and that's not caring about the consequences for real families. Corporate America doesn't care about solving problems. It doesn't care about making sure people can afford to live. It cares more about protecting corporate profits and keeping the working poor broke and dependent that they dare demand better. That's the system that we are under, ladies and gentlemen. And until the American people understand that, nothing is going to change. Black Americans have always figured out how to survive during hard times. We never had the luxury of relying on the government to take care of us. We've been able to trust the system. We've never been able to trust the system. Um, we've always known we've we've on our own, and we build our own system of survival. One of those systems is the barter system. A barter system is a economic model where goods and services are exchanged directly for other goods and services without using money. This system requires a quote unquote double um, coincidence of wants, unquote, meaning both parties must have something the other wants to trade. Our ancestors knew this. When you don't have money, then you trade goods and services. You don't need money when you have community, when you have skills, when you have people who you can rely on. For example, black barbershops used to be one of our community hubs where you could get a haircut and find out who needs help with what. Black churches used to organize food sharing and skill exchange. Black neighborhoods used to have formal economies where people trade goods and services without ever involving the former banking systems. We did this because we understood that community wealth isn't just about money in the bank, it's about having people you can rely on, skills you can trade, and a network of mutual support. With God's help, we will bring that back through the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. The barter system worked for the African American communities for generations because we understood something that American try to make us forget. Money is just a tool. It's not the only form of value. Your time has value. Your skills have value. Your labor has value. And you can trade those things directly without ever involving money. In Grekai of Chicago, we will teach our members and students how to survive without depending on a system that's designed to fail us. We're going to rebuild those community networks where we take care of each other, where we trade and barter and share resources, where we don't depend on politicians to save us, but because they're in the pockets of the white supremacist financial elites and only care about their own agenda, not ours. We will take the lead to build our own parallel economies in our communities where we're not dependent on corporations that won't pay us fairly or politicians who won't protect us. In Gurkaya, Chicago, we will begin trading with each other, hiring each other, supporting each other's businesses, and creating systems of exchange that don't require us to participate in a broken economy. For example, if you can teach, then you can trade. If you have a garden, trade um, trade your vegetables. If you have tools or equipment people need, share them. Build relationships where you help each other um, without money all the time. But yes, we are going to pay our. I am going to pay my employees. But like I say, shucks, if people don't buy my book, and if items on my virtual store is not selling, then all I can do is just keep encouraging people to first of all join Cam because I'm on a shoestring budget. I can't do nothing, unfortunately. I'm trying straight up. 33 years I've been doing this. It's a straight up turn off. Don't like it, but hey, it is what it is. This isn't just about survival. This is about building power. When you don't use their money, then they can't control you. When you have a community that takes care of each other, you don't have to accept poverty wages. When you can trade your skills for what you need, you're not dependent. You're not powerless. You're not one paycheck from being homeless. This system called American capitalism wants us isolated, dependent, desperate, and grateful for whatever crumbs they throw at you. The barter system says we don't need your crumb. We'll take care of ourselves. Again, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, 40 million Americans are on food stamps. What's wrong with this picture? The system is broken and it's not going to get fixed. Politicians are not going to save us. Corporations are not going to pay you a fair wage. The government is not going to solve the affordability crisis or control rent or raise the minimum wage. They're going to keep doing exactly what they've been doing, which is nothing, while more and more people fall into poverty. What are you going to do about it? We hmm, Are you going to keep waiting for politicians? Are you going to keep hoping that corporations will develop a conscience? Are you going to keep playing by the rules that they designed to keep you poor? Or are you going to join the grassroots community activist movement and start building our own economic base? Black America has always known that we can't depend on this government to take care of us. We've always had to take care of ourselves, and we've survived. Our ancestors built businesses and communities and networks for support, even when the government and corporations were actively working against us. Now, the rest of America is learning what we've already known. You're on your own. The system doesn't care about us. The politicians don't care about us. The corporations definitely don't care about us. We've, you're all, sorry, tongue twisted. Just bear with me. We're all viewed as a source of labor and profit for the billionaire class or the 1%. And if you can't afford to eat, to them, that's your problem. But it doesn't have to be this way. This is why I created this platform to recruit brave and smart, like minded Black Americans beyond Chicago, brave and smart, like minded African immigrants across the United States of America from 10 Saharan African nations. Together, we can build the best African American business within the United States of America. And again, that is the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. In Greater Chicago, we will create community eco- economic community economies where Black Americans and African immigrants take care of each other, where we trade skills, goods, and services, among other things. We need to stop depending on a system that's designed to fail us and start building our own system that will work for us. 40 million Americans are on food stamps is a crisis, but it's also an opportunity to realize that the system is broken, an opportunity to stop waiting for politicians to fix it, an opportunity for GCAM members to start building our own systems. The richest country on earth shouldn't have 40 million people who can't afford to eat. But since it does, and since the people in power have no interest in changing that, maybe we should stop calling America the richest country on earth. Maybe it's time we stop believing that lie about American prosperity and start seeing America for what it really is. Remember, we don't need their system to survive. Our ancestors been proven that for 400 years. My question to the 40 million Americans on food stamps and to everyone out there who is struggling to afford rent and groceries, to everyone working full time and still poor, here's what I want you to know. You're not alone. This system has failed you and your family. Consider joining the grassroots community activist movement. How do you join? First, purchase my revised book or my ebook for $9.99 and read my story for yourself. If you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, specifically Black Chicago, then you automatically will become a GCAM member. If you are non Black, then you must make arrangements with me to publicly come on this platform and tell me where do you stand as it pertains to lineage-based cash payment reparations for descendants of American slaves slash freedmen. Do you agree or disagree? Point blank, no long-winded answers. Um, Also, if you want to join uh my business, you will have to pay a reparation tax. That's just how it is. Those who agree with um those who agree with um lineage-based cash payment reparations for descendants of American slaves slash freedmen. If you agree and you pay your reparations tax, then you can have a back seat. Keep your mouth closed. Over here, we focus on using an Afrocentric perspective. We will not be colonized. Over here, our focus is on solving Black issues. Nothing else on earth matters to us at all. I don't operate like the next Black man. I have my own style and way of doing things. In Cacao, Chicago, we will build networks of mutual support, create alternatives to an economy that doesn't value us, and to the politicians getting paid during the shutdowns while federal workers stand in food banks. We're watching you. We see exactly what you value and who you serve. A lot of Black Americans who reside in the low income African American community or neighborhoods receive SNAP benefits. We're not going to demonize them for on this platform. If you make $7.25 an hour, working 40 hours a week, you're making around 20,000 a year. So you would need the SNAP program because you're making below poverty level. So the food banks have been stepping up and the food banks have been trying to help the federal workers because everybody lives paycheck to paycheck in this country. It's the supposed richest country in the world, right? We are the richest. No, we're a third world country masking itself as the richest. We are broke in this country. We are 37 trillion in debt. The average American cannot live past their their check. Period. They can't. The average American can't go to the car lot tomorrow and buy a car they want. They can't buy a home with cash. They can't do any of that. If you if your whole life will tumble, if you miss one paycheck, that means the majority of us are broke. And it's a system that's we're in that keeps us that way because they want us to stay basically in debt because the scriptures teach the debtor is a servant to the lender. That's why they want us with payments. If you keep making payments for everything and not being financially wise, and trust me, all of us have made those mistakes, including me. They get us on this capitalism. We got to have um, the latest, let's say, technology, um, the latest fashion, all that stuff. Even in our culture, we look down on people. They did not dress a certain way. So people are pressured in their own communities to go spend money they don't have to impress other Black people. Um, you don't drive a certain car, they'll look down on you. You call broke in our community. It doesn't make sense until you elevate to a point like I don't care about what they say, but it takes time for people to eventually get to that level. And we should not be looking down on anybody because we don't know what that person has been going through. Um, that's some of the people that got money, they they act very arrogant and all that kind of stuff, and you just don't really want to fool with them. And usually the person that's not well dressed and all that stuff, they seem like the coolest person you want to be friends with. But that's why I try to treat everybody equally and all that stuff. And based on a spiritual thing, if I get a bad vibe about a person, I just tell them I ain't interested in them being around me. Not trying to say I'm better. It's just that again, like degenerates. I don't think that I'm better. That's what some of my critics would say. You say that I'm judging and all that stuff. Not judging. I'm just saying I have standards. That's all I'm saying. You know, if you don't have any ambitions in life and stuff, I can't. What's the point of me being around you? You know what I'm saying? I'm about mine. I'm on business all the time. So I can't be around someone that lacks ambition and don't want nothing out of life. You want to be a slave to the white man, that's on you. But over here, don't bring that garbage because we ain't with that. That's real. I found an article from the New York Times entitled, quote, Food Banks brace for overwhelming demands as SNAP cuts cutoff looms, unquote. To read the full article, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. From my understanding, this article was talking about how food banks are bracing for overwhelming demands of SNAP cutoff loans. As we know, if the government doesn't do anything by November 1st, then no one will get their SNAP payments. So you can see the picture by the volunteers and their helping federal workers. Now, it's sad to see federal workers have to be in food lines, but Congress and senators are getting paid. All of them rich, and they are, um, they're well to do. The article says food banks across the United States were stretched thin even before the federal government shutdown. They said rising food prices had driven a growing number of people to their doors. Cuts to federal programs left them with less to give. Tens of millions of hungry Americans anticipate even greater surge in demand with no end in sight. The nearly month long federal government shutdown funding for the nation's largest food assistance program, known as SNAP, would disappear at the start of November 1st. According to the Department of Agriculture, on Friday, the Trump administration said in the memo that it would not tap into the contingency fund to keep payments flow to states, but he sent money to Argentina that could have actually paid the SNAP program. He found 40 billion for that, but he couldn't put the 8 billion in SNAP. That means roughly 42 million Americans who rely on SNAP and may soon have to find other means to feed themselves and their families. Many of them will turn to local food pantries, anti hungry organizations, and food banks, says the surge in demand will almost certainly exceed the capacity to respond, and the impact could resonate well beyond the shutdown. Now, they're talking about the amount of Americans who are going to face hunger this year. I found another article from, I have to spell this out because I don't know how to pronounce it, AXIOX, entitled, quote, Food Banks Brace for 42 Million Without SNAP, unquote. To read the full article, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. According to the article, according to the article, it says food banks brace for 42 million without SNAP. Now they are talking about the shutdown as usual. They they said SNAPs run out this week. They said the food banks will demand that will demand they will face a demand that can't possibly meet alone. So a lot of people are getting kicked off a SNAP regardless due to the big beautiful bill. This article said that the Trump administration tax and spending bill, including expanding work requirements, food banks are already stranded by the government program cuts. Working class means people who have a job, not people that's just sitting at home, but people who have jobs face unprecedented attack. Um, so that's some rough stuff that's going on. Um, they said that the shutdown is just like throwing water on the fire, but throwing gasoline on it. To the Department of Agriculture, they are saying that November SNAP payments, um, 42 million, will go without aid in face of potential hunger hunger crisis. Um, so yeah, that's some really rough stuff. We're hearing about the crash out people are talking about, but once again, we want to focus on um, our community, and that's And there's a lot of people in our community that's going to deal with this issue. So what are you going to do? You're facing you know, your stamp, your food stamps is going to get cut off November 1st. Um so if you could learn if you can learn how to make it without SNAP, that would be great because again, our ancestors didn't use SNAP. Um, a lot of our people have forgotten about the Lord. A lot of our people have put their faith in these politicians and failed to realize many of these black politicians are in the pockets of the white supremacist financial elites and don't mean us any good. God provides the birds, um, and they don't have a federal program. He provides them every day to eat. We have to put our faith and trust back in God. I don't care about what others say. I'm talking about the black community right now. I'm talking about you have a personal relationship with your creator. Speaking of pastors, Pastor Marvin Winans is sitting up here asking for thousands of dollars. He said Tyler Perry gave him Tyler Perry gave him $100,000. He should open up his church doors to help give out food in the African American community. This is their time to serve the community. If these mega black churches don't open up their doors and provide food for people, I'm talking about these mega churches that has a large congregation, they can um, help out during this federal government shutdown. They can help these food pantries. The food pantries alone shouldn't have to be out there. All of their tithes and offering they receive every week. Um, you know, and also a lot of them are 501c3, just like what I'm trying to be. I am, but I don't have the support. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm trying to get my management team in place. I can't do all this stuff. This is a Nehemiah assignment, but let me get back to my presentation, please. Um, Many of them are just siphoning resources from the African American community and not giving back anything. If you got a problem with what I said, then you got a problem with Jesus because Jesus didn't just hang out in the church. He went out into the streets with the people. This food crisis going going on with the federal workers is shameful. I don't want to see anybody go through food shortage. The food banks are doing what they can. How is it that the food banks are doing more to feed people than these mega churches? In the African American community, we have churches and liquor stores on every corner. We have drug addicts all over the place. There shouldn't be a lot of drug addicts walking around, but um, um, I believe because these churches ain't doing their part. You know, they're not reaching out to the community. That's how I see, and they're not giving people that's on drugs a way out. The wickedness about this system is, like I say, Congress and senators, they're still getting a paycheck during this government shutdown, while the federal workers aren't getting anything. White America, I know y'all listening, so just listen and hear me loud and clear. I have nothing personally against you, but this, this is because of action from people from your community. This anti-black racism. Um, those of those people in your community thought that um, electing Trump would be harming Black Americans. Um, but you're actually going to suffer more because it's more of you that's on welfare than it is blacks. And I know that for a fact because when I was in college, I learned about that because I majored in sociology and also I majored in social work. So you will suffer the consequences of your action due to your anti-black racism. I don't remember if you don't remember your history, your European history, the oligarchs in that time hated poor whites. That's why your people fled Europe and came over here. Your people created the same system that you left in the UK. The billionaire class or the 1% controls our government. You agree with the policies from people that don't like you. Trump said he has $6 billion he can send out, but he's not going to do that. Um, so you voted for Trump because you wanted him to harm Black Americans. When you're when when y'all will learn that racism doesn't pay. Black Americans ain't taking anything from you. Nobody can blame Black Americans for this. We're staying out of your way and watching you all fight it out. We're done saving America because we fought in every war and we're still being treated as three-fifths human. And as far as I'm concerned, I feel that the civil rights movement it benefited white businesses because think about it, we had more black businesses during Jim Crow than we do today. And it's just unfortunately that slave mentality among Black Americans, they feel like spending money with everybody, all these other groups, but they don't want to support what I'm trying to build here. Well, that's going to be the downfall of Black Americans, this slave mentality. And like I say, I mean, my business is membership based. Those that's not part of us, you know, we'll just pray for them. And when they post videos about being harassed by the police and being police brutality and all that stuff, ignore it. That's all I can say, because that's what they want. What's the point of look at what happened with to George Floyd? This is what really ticked me off as being a Black American. No Black Americans intervened on that brother's behalf. That road cop was on that brother's neck for 9 minutes. And all they did was just set up here and record it, video record. What kind of garbage is that? That man died. It's such a turn off. Like I say, I can't just up and cut and run because I'm on a shoestring budget. I got to go through this foolishness. I have a multi-million-dollar idea, but when I share that with Black Americans, especially Black Chicagoans, they sit up here and go, hee hee ha ha, your business ain't going anywhere. Or some dumb stuff like that. But yet they'll support that dope man. The dope man is destroying the doggone community. Here's what it is. Um, um, Please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast and share with your friends on all social media sites you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. Our second topic, Democratic Shields expose receiving dark money to, to manipulate Black voters. Democrat shields have, have proven um, are being paid to sell out, to manipulate Black Americans to continue caping for the Democrats and staying on that Democrat plantation. So when I use the word Democrat plantation, that's a metaphor to criticize the relationship between the Democrat Party and its Black voters. The Democrat Party takes the loyalty of Black Americans for granted while practicing benign and neglect policies aimed at Black Americans, yet offering economic tangibles to all other groups. So that's not right. That's how come over here we're against that Democrat Party practicing benign and neglect. Well, both of them does as well. You know, the Republicans do too. But I just try to encourage my members just for us to be, third party independent, That's what I, try to encourage my members. Um, and when okay, we make this comparison between the modern political system and the institution of chattel slavery. So today we are going to expose the hidden hand, dark money, secret contracts, your favorite grassroots influencers. They are all on the payroll. Listen, family, we need to have this conversation before the midterm comes around. What I'm about to share with you is going to change how you look at your social media feeds. And with the midterms coming up this November, you need to understand exactly who's trying to manipulate you and get and who's getting paid to do so. These so-called influencers are so-called passionate about telling you who to vote for. Notice how certain voices get louder around election time. Suddenly, your timeline is flooded with people telling you who to vote for or which political candidate that has our best interests. Well, there's a reason for that. It has a price tag attached to it. I found an article from Wire magazine entitled, quote, "A dark money group is secretly funding high profile Democratic influencers," unquote. To read the full article, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. This article exposed one of the biggest political influence schemes in modern history. There's a group called Chorus, and they've been secretly paying social media influencers up to $8,000 a month to push Democrat Party talking points. We're talking about $8,000 every month to some creator with over 90 influencers signed up for the program. That's almost six figures a year to some of these people just to post propaganda. But here's where it gets very more sinister. This program is funded by something called the 1630 Fund, which is a dark money organization. To check out the 1630 Fund website, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. Allow me to explain what dark money means because this is crucial, family. Dark money groups are organizations that do not have to report um, who's funding them. They can collect millions of dollars from billionaires, corporations, foreign entities, whoever they want, and they would never have to disclose a single name, zero transparency, zero accountability, just secret money flowing to push political agendas. The 1630 Fund was created in 2009 as a liberal response to conservative dark money groups under the Trump first administration. This organization has funded hundreds of millions of dollars into progressive causes, and now they figured out a new way to spend that money buying influencers, buying voices, buying trust, buying black sellouts. Think about that for a second. The same people who spent years screaming about dark money and politics and demanding transparency are now the same people running around here with the most secretive influence operations ever seen. The hypocrisy is breathtaking. They're banking on the fact that many people won't connect the dots. Now let's talk about what these contracts actually says. According to the document that Wired reviewed, these influencers have to sign agreements that include that they cannot publicly acknowledge that they are part of this program. First of all, they can't tell their followers, they can't disclose who's funding them, they can't even admit they're being paid. It's literally in the contract. Keep it secret or lose your income. Secondly, they have to get permission from Democrat politicians um, to go through chorus, meaning chorus becomes the gatekeeper. They control which politician they can speak with and what questions to ask them, what content gets made. It's not grassroots. This is manufactured, controlled, and scripted. Thirdly, Chorus has the power to demand that creators take down any content produced at their events. That's not free speech, that's control. And fourth, there are restrictions on what kind of political content these creators can produce. Because when you're being paid by a political operation, you don't get to have your own opinion. You're reading from a script from the people in charge. They're pushing an agenda. They're you're a paid spokesman, whether you're whether your followers know it or not. The people involved in this program are some of the biggest names in progressive social media. Now, I'm not going to say all these people's names. If you want to know, because some of them got funny names that I can't pronounce. If you want to know, just read my transcript. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real. These people who have built their brands on on appearing authentic, um, relatable, and genuine, passionate about the issues, but authentically disappeared the moment you're cashing checks from dark money organizations. Now, in the group chats that were leaked, these influencers were discussing the terms of their contracts. They're selling their credibility for a paycheck. But let me tell you something that should be concerning every single black voter in this country. We already know the famous black boule of them all, Roland Martin. He is lined up to get paid dark money. Remember, during the 2024 campaign, Kamala Harris paid him $300,000, according to the FEC filings. Just let that sink in. And now you have to ask yourself every time you see him post something, every time you hear him talking, is that his genuine opinion or is that just a paid advertisement? Because when someone's getting six figures from a campaign, they're not giving you unbiased analysis, they're giving you marketing. This is the game, family. This is how they operate. They find influential voices in our community. They write them a check that they can't refuse. And suddenly, those voices are telling us how we should think, how we should vote, and who we should support. If you dare to think for yourselves, we get attacked, we get called names, you get told you're not black enough. How can anyone be loyal to a political party that pays people to manipulate them? That's not loyalty, that's exploitation. These people are paid to mislead you. That's their job. That's what the eight $8,000 a month covers. It's not about genuine beliefs. It's about staying on message, pushing the narrative, and making sure you fall in line. These same influencers spend years building trust with their audience by pretending to be independent voices. They position themselves as truth tellers, as people who care about the African American community, as authentic activists who just want to make things better. But the whole time they were willing to sell that trust the moment someone offered them enough cash. They're literally trying to reframe political chaos as some kind of a support system for struggling content creators. That's not a scholarship, that's a salary. That's compensation for service rendered. Think about how this affects our community specifically. We already face enough challenges when it comes to political representation and having our voices heard authentically. Now we have to worry about whether the people who looks like us, who claims to speak for us, are actually being paid by shadowy organizations to manufacture content. It's cultural manipulation at best. The Democrat Party has failed at organic influencers outreach for many years. They couldn't figure out how to authentic connect with younger voters, with diverse communities, with people who consume media differently than the traditional cable news audience. Instead of doing the hard work of earning trust and building genuine relationships, they just open up the checkbook. They found a dark money loophole, funneling cash through a nonprofit and brought themselves an army of online spokespeople. And the strategy works because many people don't know what's happening. Most people see these influencers posting passionate content and assume it's coming from their heart. They don't see the contracts. They don't see the payment receipts. That's the deception. That's manipulation. With these midterm election approaching in November, you can bet this program is going to kick into overdrive. The shaming, the trolling, and the emotional manipulation are going to intensify because what makes that's what they're being paid to do. These jobs is to make you feel like you have no choice. Their job is to make you feel guilty for thinking independently. Their job is to make you believe that questioning the Democrat Party means you're betraying your values. But here's what I need for um, Black Americans to understand. Thinking for yourself is not betrayal. Asking question is not disloyal. Demanding transparency is not being difficulty. You have every right to know who's funding the voices that are trying to influence your votes. You have every right to expect honesty from people who claim to represent your interests. And you have every right to reject anyone who's willing to take dark money to manipulate you. My challenge to you, start paying attention to those who start talking and what they might be getting paid to say. When you see someone pushing political content, especially around election time, ask yourself some questions. Has their content changed? Are they subtly more aggressive? Are they shaming people who disagree instead of engaging in genuine dialogue? If these influencers want to work with work for political organizations, fine. Get your money, but be honest about it. Tell your followers, disclose your relationship. Let people make informed decisions about rather to trust your content. The 1630 Fund and organizations are betting that we're too distracted, too busy, or too trusting to notice what they're doing. Not talking, I'm not taking that bet, and neither should you. We deserve better than this. We deserve authentic voices. We deserve transparency. We deserve to know when someone is being paid to influence us, and we deserve political parties that respect us enough to earn our votes honestly instead of buying fake grassroots movement with dark money. So this November, when you're making decisions about who to vote for and what issues matters to you, please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast and share with your friends on all social media sites you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. Thank you for listening to our audio podcast. We greatly appreciate this. Please be sure to click the subscribe button and like button. If you see a survey and they ask you, did you like this the content, say yes, it was educational. Give us a good rating because these ratings help recommend more content. That's the new YouTube. So please give us a good rating. Put me on blast by telling your friends and family to listen to our content on our YouTube page. I'm going to send a challenge out to everyone that's listening to this audio podcast. I need all hands on deck. Our film project so that we can move beyond cyberspace and get our story on the big screen to let the Black world know who we are and what we're trying to do for our people who are trapped in American ghettos, specifically in Chicago. Quote, Liberator, made in Chicago. The war against Willie Lynch begins. You can become, sorry, you can be a part of this historic docudrama by contributing to our crowdfunding pages, which are on our GoFundMe page, our Buy Me a Coffee page, or our PayPal Giving Fund page, which will help fund marketing, promotion, clearance, legal, and general expenses. If you are a U.S. citizen, then I recommend that you donate to our PayPal Giving Fund page because you can use it as a tax write off because this is a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit, faith based community advocacy organization. You can also purchase items from our virtual store or purchase my revised book. The ebook is $9.99. The softcover book is $15 plus shipping and handling. We appreciate your support. You can find all of the links below this audio podcast in the comments section. Thank you again for listening to our YouTube live or replay. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing. I want to thank all of you for listening to our audio podcast on Spotify. If you are new to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast, welcome to our safe space where we discuss Black issues and African issues. We do this every week. This will conclude our audio podcast for today. We will see you on the next episode. Peace and blessings. And that's going to conclude our show for today.